Texans probably have the least amount of questions. That's not true. Because I think the Jaguars had more answers than questions. I think I was stretching for questions, ones that I already knew the answers to. But the Texans, what are the Texans' questions? There's two. What are the two questions with the Texans?
Quarterback, does he come back healthy?
Can Deshaun Watson be healthy?
J.J. Watt.
Can J.J. Watt stay healthy? Those are the two questions. All right.
Yeah,
and I think the answer is no for both of them.
For both of them?
For both of them.
I don't know.
J.J. Watt's been hurt 3 of the last 5 seasons.
J.J. Watt, I agree with you. It's very tough to say that he'll put in a full season. For
quarterbacks who are mobile, you get one knee injury, that could be the end.
It could, but it's one injury until he has another one. I'm going to say it could be a fluke.
Or it could be RG3.
Yeah, that's what I said, and I think I made my friend Abner almost cry a little bit because he's super excited about Deshaun Watson. Even though he's a stupid Patriots fan, he really is excited for the kid. But I was like, that could be RG3 2.0, and he was like, please no.
Well, we'll find out. DeAndre Hopkins, is he underrated?
I mean, I think he's proven that he's, unbeatable. He can even be above average when he's got terrible, terrible quarterbacks throwing to him. And when he's got a good quarterback throwing to him, he's an absolute monster. I think he's, as far as fantasy goes, I don't think there's a place you can draft him too high. I think he's a monster. So yeah, I'd say he's probably underrated.
Even though he's commonly thought of as one of the 5 best wide receivers in the NFL, I agree. He is vastly underrated. I think he's number 2.
I was going to say, I think he's top 3.
Julio Jones, number 1. DeAndre Hopkins, number 2. AB, 3. Those are the 3 wide receivers that I think are the best. And if you give
him and AB, it's tough because if he had, and you might have been just about to say this, if he had Roethlisberger throwing to him instead of
Tom Savage,
Lobster and Savage and every other terrible quarterback before Watson, if you switch their positions, I think you're going to see something similar. And AB would probably be worse with the same quarterbacks because he's a guy you need a good quarterback to hit the hole that he creates. When you can, he's absolutely amazing to have on your team, but he creates a smaller hole, in my opinion. He's not quite as tall. He's super fast, super agile, but there's a lot of quarterbacks that cannot throw accurately enough to hit that hole. When you can, he's absolutely amazing. When you can't, as we saw sometimes with Roethlisberger's backup, he's not.
It's really difficult to compare wide receivers because if you give Matt Ryan or Matthew Stafford as your quarterback, you're going to be much better. So I find it really hard sitting here not putting AJ Green in my top 3 wide receivers, knowing that if he had Matthew Stafford or Matt Ryan throwing to him, he would probably be on the same level as Julio Jones.
It's weird with Hopkins because when you look at, when you watch him play, he's not, elite as far as being, fast, hyper agile like AB. He's not huge. He's not a huge target to throw to. Yet he produces
It's because you can't take the ball from him. He's going to go up and get it.
A contested catch, he's coming down with that.
Those 50-50 balls are 97-3.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who the corner or the safety is. If it's between him and them, and it's a 50-50, he's taking it.
He also plays very intelligently. He's got a great mind for football. So his physical gift along with his mental abilities, right there put him ahead of the curve of guys like A.J. Green. We've got Andy Dalton throwing to him. Odell Beckham Jr., who we all know his mentality is the worst thing about him. So it's pretty difficult, in my opinion, to compare these wide receivers. Because like I said, if you put A.J. Green on the Falcons, A.J. Green and Julio Jones are the same level, in my opinion.
Okay. Going back to Texans questions, I think the O-line is a pretty significant one. They're not like in a super dire O-line situation, but they do have some rookies starting. They have some question marks that and with a QB coming off of an injury last year, that is concerning.
I think that offensive line is good enough.
Well, I think it will be because, Lamar Miller, while not elite running back, is a good running back.
He is one of the most underrated. Him and Jerick McKinnon are two of the most underrated running backs, possibly in NFL history.
I would say they're underrated, definitely. I think he's going to force defenses, they're not going to be able to stack the box. The other good thing for the Texans is Will Fuller is coming back healthy.
Yes.
That means that, safeties have to worry about someone besides Hopkins. So, as far as fantasy goes, I'm trying to pick up, whichever one of them I can at the, near their ADP. Yeah, why not? But then that's a big risk if Watson proves not to be.
No, you got the Savage.
So I think there'll probably be another team that's around where it was last year and could take a step.
Okay, and then we have one more team in the AFC South. Then we're going to move on to the NFC West because we got an action-packed show because we didn't have one last week. So we're pulling double duty. All right, the Titans. And I'm going to get absolutely killed for asking this question. Is Marcus Mariota even good? Is he a good quarterback? Because I've seen a lot more bad from him.
Last year I would have been like, you're crazy, but after this past season, I'm inclined to agree with you. What have we seen that shows that he, is the truth?
Exactly. Like I felt stupid writing this question. But the more I thought about it, I was like, okay, he has the most underrated tight end in the NFL. There to catch him or to be a safety blanket. Delaney Walker just shows up to work, gets shit done. No one knows who he is. Like
fantasy players do.
Right, but I mean like
but yeah, your average NFL fan does not.
No one knows anything about this guy other than he plays for the Titans, if they even know that. So he's like, what's his name? Mike Conley. He doesn't get into trouble. He just shows up, does his damn job, does it well, collects money, goes home. Okay? So he's got this safety blanket in Delaney Walker. He had a former NFL leading rusher in DeMarco Murray. He's got Derrick Henry, who would just fucking snowball anybody and just keep running. He had not great wide receivers, but good enough to where they can stretch the field and smart wide receivers that'll come back to the quarterback. So shouldn't he be better than what we saw? I mean, I know he had an injury. I know he's young, but I mean, is he good? Is he a good quarterback? And I know we like to give that 3-year thing, but I didn't see anything last year that suggests he's good.
What year is this for him?
This is number 3 coming up.
This is okay. Then yeah, this is really the year where you see that, because that could have just been, he looked good his rookie season, not elite, but he's a rookie.
But he also played in a really
had a sophomore slump. So
His
now
rookie.
we determine, was that just the sophomore slump, or is that who he is?
But think about it. His rookie year, they played against the Jaguars, who won 2 games. All right, you had Brock Lobster as the quarterback of the Texans. All right, you had an injured Andrew Luck for the entire season. So in comparison, didn't he just naturally look better? Were we looking at him like, okay, he's the best in the division because of these different things? But looking at him with Blake Bortles maybe finally figuring it out, and the Jaguars playing well, and Deshaun Watson showing that he's a competent quarterback, and Andrew Luck just being out, and Jacoby Brissett coming in and being like, well, I did the best I could under these terrible circumstances. He doesn't look good. He looked bad. And
You struggle with the Chiefs in the playoffs season too.
He did. If not for Delaney Walker and what's his name? The running back, Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't have won that game against Kansas City. Which brings me... sorry.
Well, I was going to say, no more Mike Mularkey. So, maybe there's no more Mularkey going on.
Yeah, their new head coach is Mike Vrabel.
So, maybe that will change things up. Maybe there's, Mularkey and Mariota just...
didn't mesh.
Yeah, I mean, he did have that quote-unquote exotic smash-mouth defense that they always talked about, and, he didn't seem willing to adapt that at all to the players that he had. So I think a new OC along with him is a good thing. They got Matt LaFleur, who showed that he can get it done with Jared Goff and Matt Ryan. He was Rams coordinator in 2017 and Falcons QB coach 2015 to 16. Those were great years for both of those quarterbacks. So this is really... actually, this is his 4th season. So last year was his 3rd season.
Mariota's?
Yes.
I don't remember.
So he had...
The year he called Marcus Mariota.
He had 2 good seasons. His first 2 seasons were good. Last year was his worst season. 13 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. He played well when it was, when it was clutch time. So he definitely, I think, has the clutch gene, which is that's good. But he needs to be consistent, and I didn't really see a reason that he should have had such a poor showing last year. Like, what changed between the first 2 years and last year?
The injury. It's the only thing I can think of, but that's not an excuse.
I mean, he's yet to play a full season, right?
I believe that's correct.
He's been injured every season.
Yeah.
So you never know. Blaine Gabbert might be taking the reins again.
Perhaps.
Oh boy.
Perhaps. Let's move on from that scary thought. Now that DeMarco Murray's gone, is Derrick Henry ready to be the guy at running back? Will Deion Lewis continue to be a receiving threat, or can he thrive as a runner behind that offensive line? Delaney Walker, the most underrated tight end in the NFL today.
Yes.
I think Deion Lewis... I think the smart thing would be for Deion Lewis to just say, we want you to fill the same type of role that Julian Edelman has. We're going to put you at receiver, and we're going to run you out of the backfield occasionally.
Yeah, I was going to say, why not have him do both? He's got great hands. He can be a breather for Derrick Henry.
From Albany, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I absolutely see Deion Lewis being that player that's just, you kind of throw him in wherever you need to, and he'll be productive. As far as fantasy goes, I want Derrick Henry real bad because he's going to be the one punching it in. He's going to be the all-star of that, the all-star runner. He's going to be a bell cow in my opinion.
Probably. That's really all I've got for the AFC South in terms of questions, things to discuss, except for predictions. I'll give mine first. Jacksonville wins the division. Tennessee makes the playoffs. Houston, then Indianapolis.